let me tell you about my friend Jonas. He's been working on a podcast for a really long time now called Stories and Sounds. He sent it to me recently to preview, and I was totally blown away. If you like this podcast, you're going to love Stories and Sounds. If you like songs, if you like the story behind songs, you're going to love it. But let's play the trailer for Stories and Sounds at the top of this episode and be looking out for a special appearance from Jonas on this podcast, Worktapes, real soon.
When we're gone, what will be left behind? Beside trust funds or coin collections, we live on through our stories, the legends and legacies that tell of our greatest successes, our wildest ideas, our biggest failures. And what better vehicle for a story than music? Our musical heritage holds many truths about our humanity, and perhaps even more mysteries.
I mean, my whole thing here is basically a theory. There's nothing here that I can prove or disprove.
Join me in my quest for answers as I explore untold stories.
Breathe a little bit of life back into Dial Song. That's my contribution to the band.
Go on unforeseen adventures.
We are getting in Unit 92.
My son Walker, this one's for you.
This is Will's handwriting.
Dive deep into conversations with some household names.
Hey, this is Amy Grant.
Hey everybody, it's Vince Gill.
Hello, this is Ben Folds.
And peer into dusty corners of the internet.
I am in full belief that Pink Floyd intentionally wrote their album, Dark Side of the Moon, to line up with The Wizard of Oz.
Hear from those whose hearts define what it means to be human.
That music, it don't discriminate. It's one of the things I know that bring people together.
If you put a smile on a kid's face, then you've done a day's work.
And those who knew the stakes of their calling.
My first thought was, this is 50 grand. This is worth 50 grand.
And they heard me sing. They said, well, wait a minute. We're getting ready to do this Scooby-Doo thing. Get him.
Join the journey as I see how far my questions can get me. What is the power that music holds to do this kind of thing?
It's like a scientist is like, I don't really know why this works all the time, but every time I do it, it works.
But when we search for answers, we rarely find the ones we expect. And sometimes we realize that we don't need an answer at all. From Wise Company Productions, I'm Jonas Litton, and this is Stories and Sounds.
Stories and sounds. Oh, everywhere you turn, there's a dream in a making. Any step you take, there's a history waiting. Sing, where are you now? Oh, 'cause we're ready for your stories and sounds.
Available wherever you listen to your favorite sounds.
Welcome to Worktapes. This is a podcast where we tear apart songs. Why was the song written? What's it about? What's the context and emotion behind it? Where were you at the time? What were you going through? How did certain lines come to you? What's the inspiration? How long did it take to write? I'm Brandon Carswell, and I'm fascinated with songwriting and how songs are built from the ground up. It's easy to hear a full production song on the radio and dismiss its origin story. I want to hear the rough draft of the song, or the work tapes. I want to explore the very beginning of how songs that move us and make us move are born.
Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you?
I'm told every evening coming home that I know less than a half of what I'm shown, and I'm skipping like a stone.
Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you?
Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to Worktapes. This is Brandon once again, and I'm joined today by Common Man. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Meredith, and I'm one half of Common Man.
And I'm Compton. I'm the other half of the band.
So you're a two-piece band from Huntsville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just start at what brought you guys together. I know you're together. You're married.
We're really together.
You're really together.
Yes.
Did you have the band before you got married, or was this like a byproduct of getting together romantically?
Yeah. We make a joke because we're like, we saved our band for marriage. We started dating because I opened a show for Compton in Memphis where he was living at the time, and that's where we met. I was doing a solo thing, he was doing a solo thing, and we got married exactly a year and a week after that. And during that time we were like, oh, when we get married we'll probably start a band, but we wanted to wait specifically until after we were married, so it wasn't like, because we were long distance too, so it was like, are we really going to try to be a band?
Yeah.
You know, when we live 9 hours apart. The answer was no. So we got married, lived in the same place, and then we started Common Man.
So you dated long distance.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you do that? That's hard to do.
The whole time.
Yeah, the whole like year that we were
Compton
dating.
was in Texas and I was in Huntsville. He was in Memphis for school, moved back to Texas. We met right when he was graduating. So it's great timing.
It was crazy.
That's a lot of traveling or just phone time, right?
Yeah,
yes,
both.
all of the above. Yeah.
That's hard to do. I've done that. It can wear on you. So congratulations for sticking it out and making it work.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So how long have you been married?
Just over 2 years.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Not long. Our book is about to come out, our marriage book. Now that we're pros.
Yeah. You're
have it all
pros.
figured
2
out.
years in and you're pros.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My parents are celebrating their 50th.
Whoa.
Like next month. And it blows my mind.
Congrats to them, man.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really compute that number in marriage.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of forgiving, I think, that went on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. First of all, driving up to Nashville. I was kind of thinking like, how am I going to do this? Cause there's two of you, but let's just start with one of you and get some backstory on how you got into music at all. Cause I assume it's two different stories since you're two different people.
Yes. Yeah, I have been around music pretty much my whole life since I was a small kid, doing choirs and things like that. And I started really, like, seriously doing music in a way that was like, this is my favorite thing. I want to do this forever. When I was probably early high school, like young teenage years, I had a couple friends that sort of showed me the ropes of songwriting, and that was what did it for me. Started writing a bunch of songs, and that was like all my free time as a high schooler was just spent writing songs and recording them in my room, and and ever since then that's just been the thing that I love to do most.
He produced a whole album when he was 17.
Wow.
And it's like fully produced, like has all the trims and trappings, and it's awesome. And I don't think it's ever going to get released, but I've heard it and I'm blown away because I never could have done that at 17.
And did you did that for yourself, or you had a band?
For myself.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a solo.
That's awesome.
Project.
Did you even intend to release it? Like, you literally just did it for yourself. Like, this is
I was releasing it on SoundCloud. But
for the masses.
But yes, that was extra fun way to share it with people. But yeah, I was just doing it because I like to.
Yeah.
The best reason to do anything.
Yeah,
that's great. What about you? Where did you get started in music?
I guess similar. Like, my parents were really into music, and I begrudgingly admit this, but I did a lot of musical theater in high school. And I say begrudgingly because it like is a knife to my heart when people are like, oh yeah, I totally can hear it. I can totally hear your musical theater influence. I'm like, no, please. It's so cringy. But
I don't know if it's cringy.
Really?
Is it?
I don't know. Theater people kind of have their own kind of rap. And sometimes I just get nervous. But sending all the love to my theater people out there.
Yeah, but they do teach you how to sing. I mean, there's no doubt.
That's true. There's a lot of like power when you learn to sing in that context, as opposed to like I'm in my room with a guitar doing the singer-songwriter thing.
Right.
So it's definitely served its purpose in my performance skills long term. And I also like have more of a show mindset when I even go into like our gigs. So it's more like we have to like plan this out. It has to be a show. It has to be entertaining. It's a little bit less about my feelings, I guess. I disconnect a little bit more. You're a little laughing at me. Compton's like, it's all about my feelings. So we make a good balance in that respect. But my parents bought me a ukulele as a graduation gift when I was 18, and I wrote just the most obnoxious ukulele songs heard by man during that period of my life. And I would not have made it as a solo artist. I only really play the piano and the ukulele, and both of those I play at like a very beginner level, but I really enjoy writing lyrics and melodies, so I'm a good teammate, and I like being on teams of people writing and producing songs. But I'm not just like gonna come in and like cast a vision and then be like, all right, I'm gonna execute this. There are just some cool ways that has kind of influenced like our collaboration. We're not both like really, we don't both have the same skill sets. We're not both like really, in touch with our feelings, gonna write a raw emotional song that's really personal, and then we're gonna try to like deliver it in the most like authentic way possible. We have like, he does that part and then I do like everything else, and so I think it's a really good compliment, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So the songs that you guys have, do you co-write all of them, or do you just work together on all of them?
We are still kind of in the beginning phases of being a band in some ways. So I think that like this collection of songs we're releasing right now, some of them we co-wrote, and then some of them were songs Compton had written before we even met. And we're kind of like phasing out of those songs where it's more of like, I had this, you had this, let's like figure out if we can make it a common man thing. Right. So we're still kind of like culling through those songs that still have potential to serve us as a duo in what we're trying to do. And we're writing more and more stuff. I would say right now, we're pretty much co-writing everything, but I would say Compton does probably the bulk of it.
Yeah. And we do have a song or two as well that was just written by Meredith that we do now. So it is all kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I do write probably more. Songwriting is more of like my main contribution, but yeah, a lot of them it's a co-write, or like I write a lot of it and then we kind of workshop it together. And
yeah, Compton will like come to me with a song and he'll be like, I wrote a verse and a chorus this morning, and he'll play it for me, and then I'll be like, man, that's awesome, because 9 times out of 10 it is something awesome. And then I'll be like, this is kind of a funny thing about our dynamic also, and like how we work together with like our differences is I process things in the moment really quickly, and I have like an internal dialogue that helps me do that, but Compton is more of like an abstract processor, and it just takes him a lot longer to like really put words to feelings and experiences. So he'll come to me with a song or like half of a song, and at the end of it I'll be like, do you know what that song is about? Because I think I do. Yeah. And it'll usually be something that we either are going through or something a friend of ours is going through, or like there's always something that I can point to that is an experience that we're having.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, that makes sense to me. And then he finishes out the song, or I help do that with the direction kind of like from my instinct.
Right.
Like, hey, I think that you're, and that's like Can I Know You definitely was one of those songs where it like came with the mainly the chorus, and that just like really resonated to me with like a lot of conversations we'd been having about some friends of ours and like their relational struggles, feeling connected. And I was like, man, like that chorus just makes me think of like their longing and like what they've been expressing to us, and just like a reminder to us that like even in our marriage there are times where we don't feel connected, and there is like this, you know, this like longing for connection. And Compton was like, oh yeah, that's great, I'll I'll finish the song like with that in mind. And then, you know, it kind of, because the songs do need direction. My like weakness is being too specific, and Compton's weakness is being too abstract, so we kind of just meet in the middle somewhere, still poetic, but also you can get an idea of what the song is.
That's a good balance. And I always think it's interesting that song, like you can write a song and have no idea what it's about. Like a full-on completed song, release it and everything, and you're kind of like, I don't know what that's about.
And then people will listen to it and they'll be like, yeah, I get what you were, they'll like kind of give you the wink and the nod, like I know what you were going for, and you're like, oh cool.
You're like, oh, I've made a huge mistake. Like, what is this song about? And for people that don't know you guys or know your style or haven't heard anything yet, can you explain what the band sounds like?
Yeah, it's a tough question, but it's alternative pop is kind of what we're broadly settling into.
Did we say alternative pop or indie pop?
Indie pop. Indie alternative pop.
We're trying to like narrow it down to 2 words, and we're having a hard time because all the words are so ambiguous now. Like depending on what kind of music you already listen to, you'll have a different interpretation of what those. For a long time, I was like really averse to using the word pop because I just kind of had my own idea of what pop music was, and I was like, that's not what we're doing. But then somebody like explained it to me. One of our producers explained it to me and like played me some other pop songs. He was like, well, this is what I think of when I whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense to me for what we're doing. So I think we're having a little bit of trouble defining the terms.
It's typically
we're open to suggestions.
Centered around our writing style, both of our vocal deliveries. So like vocal forward, duo forward, largely like sort of like rhythm and acoustic guitar centered in the arrangement.
Yeah, but it's not like folky or anything. It's definitely still more. Yeah, I think alternative pop. Yeah. Dang it.
Trying to figure it out. That's good.
Yeah.
We're still young.
It is a really interesting sound, and it's a different sound. It's not like a lot of the new stuff I've heard, and it's not like a lot of the old stuff. I would say that there's a band from way back in the 90s called Fleming and John. Have you heard them?
No.
It reminds me of that, but it's very different at the same time. So I don't want you to go listen to Fleming and John and be like,
that is not
screw
us.
This guy. And you might hate it. That's fine. But they're also married, and they were doing very unique stuff for that time as far as how they were writing. And her voice is really operatic, and like it was very cool, like rock and roll, but just very different. And so there's a few songs that y'all do that just was like, I was like, oh yeah, I need to go listen to these records because I think it's similar. And I think that on your website, there's something that describes it as neofolk, which I don't even know what that is really.
It's fake. We made it up. Neofolk
it's fake? It's not fake because I looked it up.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm going to read you the description of what neofolk is. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You're nervous.
I'm nervous. I'm sweating.
It's hilarious. Hold on, I gotta find it. Where did I do with it? Okay. Neofolk. Neofolk is a musical genre that combines folk and industrial music, and is also known as dark folk, folk noir, and apocalyptic folk.
Amazing.
Folk noir. Okay, this is a lesson. We need to edit our website as soon as we're done with this.
It emerged in the 1980s in punk rock circles and can be purely acoustic or combine acoustic instruments with electric music. It's influenced by a variety of genres. This is my favorite part, including folk rock, neoclassical, goth rock, metal, dark wave, experimental, industrial, as well as paganism, romanticism, and deep ecology. So you guys are basically neofolk paganism. That's what I was going for.
Yeah. It's close.
I don't actually know what that description means in any way.
That's crazy.
Isn't it weird?
It seems pretty all-encompassing.
It does. But the paganism part as a genre was tripping me out.
We're indie pagan pop, pagan pop.
Pagan folk
Yikes.
pop.
All right. Well, that'll teach us to define our terms. I think we just thought like neo, it just means like new, right? So we were like, oh, we're like new folk music. We're like acoustic, but we're like fresh.
We had a friend tell us, I was at your show and I came up for a term for what you are. It's neofolk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why
that little dummy. Maybe he knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, they're not going to look this up.
It does sound kind of cool, though.
No, it sounds awesome, but people are going to look it up. And
I think you should just call it pagan folk or something like that.
Yeah. Cut out the middleman. Yikes.
Anyway, everyone just go listen to it and decide for yourselves, I guess. It's a really great sound. I don't mean to minimize it by making fun of neofolk. I really was just thinking that pagan part was so funny. I was dying when I read that. And also I read that neofolk in the Gothic scene, that term is one of the most controversial genres.
Whoa.
And I started to read about it and I was like, I don't need to do this because this is obviously not Gothic music. So I don't want to shed light on what your music is not.
You're like, yes. I got to do some research.
But I was also very interested to know what the drama is between the goth scene and neofolk.
That is fascinating. I'm going to definitely go down that rabbit trail later.
I will too. I just didn't have time today. I was like,
gosh.
I can't do this right now. Well, that's cool. Okay, so before we talk about the song, the last thing I wanted to ask you that doesn't have anything to do with the song, or maybe it does, is do you feel like, okay, so I've been in bands, but obviously none of us are married. So does that help you? Does it hurt you in songwriting and collaborating and working together? Like, if you're doing this full time, I think that's interesting. I have friends that do it full time and they're married, they have kids, take them on the road, they do the whole thing. And it's always kind of fascinating to me when you work with your spouse and so closely on something like music and songs, because it's such like a personal thing. And it makes sense that you would, I grew up, my parents worked in music together forever and they still do. So I understand it, but I'm curious to know from y'all's point of view, are there times where it's just like, yeah, I don't want to do this today. Maybe we'll write tomorrow. You know what I mean? Or maybe you have a disagreement or a fight and then you're like, this could be a good song.
That has never happened yet, but people do ask us that all the time. They're like, it worked for Fleetwood Mac. I'm like, bro, that was horrible. I would rather write bad songs than have a horrible marriage than have a bad marriage and write good songs.
Right.
We had a drunk guy tell us, it was like one of the first gigs we played after we were married. Some drunk guy came up to us and he was like, listen, your music is so good and so important that even if you get a divorce, don't stop making the music. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Music is not the most important thing in my life.
Right.
I think that's one thing Compton and I's understanding has always been, like, our relationship is the most important thing in our lives. And so everything has to kind of come second place to that. So if music is causing a conflict, we're going to put the music down until we can work it out. Because most of the time, we do just have our lanes and we respect the other person's abilities, I know Compton is a better songwriter than me. And so most of the time, if it's like something like that, I'm not going to put my foot down. You know, I'm going to be like, okay, I've really laid out my points. You feel really strongly about this. Let's go with it. And if it stops working for some reason, then we can like revisit it. But most of the time I'm like willing to do that. And Compton really respects like the vision that I have for like the brand and the direction that I want to go with like album artwork or, you know, touring stuff, or, you know, I handle a lot of the booking and the business side of things. I handled like the band's finances. And so we already kind of have our two different roles. I think it'd be a lot more difficult to have a relationship this close if we both had the exact same gifts in music. And it might make more sense for us to do kind of solo careers or something like that. But we're just buddies, you know, like we want to be together. We want to do stuff together. I'm not saying it won't get more difficult at some point in our lives, because I think it totally could. Like we're 2 years in. Our hardest challenges we have definitely not met yet. But we talk even now, even while we're like not really that successful and we're just like hanging out and writing songs and seeing where the whole thing goes. I think for us to have really intentional conversations now about what's most important to us, will hopefully pay its dividends when/if we ever like were doing music on the road all the time. We're like, you know, living the dream, whatever. I think that all that's going to pay off at that time when we're actually making a lot bigger decisions and we're having a lot bigger disagreements about, you know, where we're playing or who we're playing with or what kind of money we're making, or, you know, things that couples tend to fight about regardless of your profession.
Right. Yeah. That's good. That's good advice.
I talk a lot. You should say something.
I agree with what you said.
Everyone's like, Compton, blink if you need help.
Trying to rewind and think about what I was going to say before, but I think you basically hit all of it. One thing too is just that while we were dating, and especially like when we were engaged to get married, before getting married, we decided to start the band as like it was derived from a conversation about our relationship, sort of like, we want to be together, we want to get married, and we want to be able to spend a lot of time together and like work on things together that we find important. We both have these gifts. We should start a band. That would be really cool.
It wasn't like we were so good at doing music together that we got married.
Right. Yeah.
We like got married and then we were like, we're married, we should do music together.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It fits. It's really good. I'm a big fan. So I heard about you guys through Whitney Dean. Do you know Whitney? Mm-hmm. Did you work with him? He didn't tell me.
Yeah, we have. We've written some songs with him.
Okay.
And, done some collaboration.
Yeah, he's on an episode of this podcast somewhere down the line. I forget what number it is. But it's a great episode. He's great. He's so great. I saw him the other night. And he mentioned you guys, so I reached out.
Yeah.
Let's get into talking about this tune. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I Know You? We were going to talk about another song, and I was listening to that one, and I was making notes and everything, and then a song came on afterwards, and then I was like, we got to talk about this song. So I love this song. I think it's super great. It kind of like hooks you right in from the top. You know, that the whole production is great, which we can talk about as well. But what is this? What is this song about? It sounds like simple, like the title, Can I Know You? But I don't think it's that super simple. Or maybe it is.
I think it can be. I think that's something cool about, like, as we've released more and more songs, just like hearing people say what the songs mean to them has been really cool, because it's like, oh, I had something super, super specific in mind, like a story that I could tell you beat by beat that like really happened. But I just wonder sometimes, I'm like, my instinct is always to tell the story. I'm always like, I want people to know exactly what it's about. But and Compton's instinct is kind of the opposite of that, and as just like tends to be our dynamic, I guess. But I think it's cool just hearing people kind of say what they think it's about. But I kind of touched on this earlier, but it's I think a lot of our songs actually end up being about like connection and longing for connection, and feeling like you're losing that with somebody and like wanting it back. It could also be like, it could be a relational thing, or it could be like a spiritual thing. And I think that's just cool when people kind of hear the words and whoever they wish they could know kind of pops in, or if they feel unknowable and they're like, I feel like this is something, you know, maybe even a call to me to be known and to be knowable, you know, or to know myself is just cool, the different ways people have taken that. And I don't think there's a wrong answer.
Right.
What would you say, buddy?
Yeah, that's similar to what I would say, but
I just say everything, and then I'm like, what do you
using
think?
fewer words, and
that's my next question is, what would you say, buddy? You should write my questions.
No, I would have said the same thing with more stammering, probably.
Whatever.
But yeah, I started to write the chorus of it, which is just, can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? That was just from an emotion, a sort of inarticulate emotion, like, wanting to know and be known.
Can I behold you was a line I had problems with when he first sang it for me. I was like, I love this chorus. It's catchy. I love like the sentiment. I don't like behold you. Like something about that feels out of place. And we kind of like talked about it, and I kind of like tried to find some different words to kind of fit that and like kind of match the same emotion, but just not be like that word. It just like felt kind of like archaic to me. But now I can't imagine the song without it. And I think as the verses developed, I was like, oh, this is like really important to the song, because it's not even just like, can I know you? I don't understand you. I want to whatever. The can I behold you part feels really profound to me.
Yeah.
Like to behold someone seems like very reverent, and it just seems deeper. It's cool.
Kind of like, to me, it kind of that line would kind of speak of like, can I know you when you're at your best? Like, because you're not there yet kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you're going to grow into this amazing person over time. And the other part that strikes me about that line and the rest of the song is really like this, I've thought about this a lot in my life, is like, no matter who you're with, whether it's me, my kids, whoever, you're dating, you're married, whatever, you never get to know somebody fully. And it's so like, it's kind of like this fight, you know? So can I behold you is like such a interesting line when you think of it like that. It's like, I want to be able to know this person like in and out fully. And it's not possible.
Yeah.
You just can't know somebody all the way deep down in and out, you know?
Yeah. There's all these like beautiful longings in relationships that, like, even if they're never realized, the pursuit of that is like a beautiful thing. Right. And people change, and your perception of them changes, and you just want to be there to see it all and like grow with them. I think it's super, I think it's cool. And I think it's a cool example of like letting the song like be what it just like needed to be from the start. And like sometimes you do need to come in and like, man, this melody is awesome, but all the lyrics, they have to go. We have to change something. Right. But this one, I think, came to Compton, you know, ready-made. And the longer that we've sat with it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, like this is exactly what it needed to be. And I'm like really excited about the impact that I feel like it has.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you my favorite line in the song, but I want to ask you, is there any portion of the song that's also about losing someone?
I feel like the bridge maybe has some like, there's something like open to that. I feel like maybe the losing part that I got out of it was a loss of relationship, not necessarily like a loss of a person in like a physical way, but it's more of like an emotional, like I've lost you, I can't find you, I can't connect with you. I think maybe that's definitely what
so my favorite line is, I don't know how to get that brave again, I don't know how to act. Which kind of like, hit me because I've been in that spot before, where you've been with someone and everything's been fine, and like you were brave and you knew how to compose yourself, and then you lose them and you get around them again and you're like, you've lost all balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what that was to me. I love that line. And how it's sung and the music and everything.
Man.
So it's great. Super great. The production on this song is super fun. I like all the little vocals that are stacked and just kind of come in and leave and never come back.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Did you guys self-produce this, or who did you work with on it?
We worked with Andrew Isbell. He's a producer that lives here in Nashville that I've been friends with for a while. I went to school with him in Memphis.
Okay.
But he's a producer and a drummer, really talented, really fun to work with. And we did this song as well as some other singles we've done, and then everything else that's like on
this project,
5-song EP that Can I Know You is part of. He was the producer on all of those songs. So he played the drums and did the like vocoder effect for us. Yep. And I think we came to him maybe with that idea. I think that
we
was
already
your idea.
had the idea, but yeah.
But he did so much of the magic of making it all come together. It was his idea to use a cello in it.
That was crazy. Compton had a cello, and he had it since the 8th grade when he was like taking cello lessons or something, and I didn't even know about it. I just knew we had a cello.
Yeah.
And so and we were gonna sell it. We like made a post and we were like, does anybody want this cello? We need to sell it. And Andrew messaged us and was like, hey, like we have a session coming up. If you don't sell the cello, you should bring it and maybe we can, do something with it. And Compton was like, oh, I don't know, I haven't played it in a long time. And he just like whipped it out and was like, ding, 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 ding. Like immediately. I was like, whatever, you're so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Compton played on Can I Know You, that's all Compton playing the cello. And then we had another friend come in for some of the other cello parts on the other tracks, but Can I Know You is Compton playing cello.
And do you play anything, or you're just vocals?
I mainly just do vocals, and then I have a lot of opinions. Those are my two gifts.
You play brain and voice. Yeah.
I'm something cool about Andrew specifically is I feel like he's brought out like the little producer in my heart. I've always felt really insecure around that kind of stuff because I'm not like that much of a musician, I guess. Like I can write lyrics and melodies, but I can't really play. I just feel really like insecure.
You're a musician, not an instrumentalist.
Sure. That's what people try to tell me to make me feel better about myself. Yes.
But it's true.
And so I just feel insecure in like studio settings most of the time. But Andrew is so, he's just so easy to work with, and he's so encouraging and kind of open. It's kind of like a no question is a stupid question kind of thing. No idea is a bad idea. Until we've like, tried it every way we can. And then if it doesn't work, we just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, well, that's the beautiful thing about art in general. It's like there's really no rule. I mean,
and he's really like made an environment where I really felt comfortable giving ideas, and the more that I did that and we would keep them because they weren't trash, the more I think I've really like stepped into like I really enjoy after we've recorded everything. Or at least like the basic stuff. I really enjoy like a lot of the background vocal stuff or like the choir stuff is stuff that I like, I don't know, I'm saying write with quotations, but those are like the parts that that I write. And it makes me, it's like really empowering to work with a producer that makes you feel like you have something to offer, even if I can't say I need to build a chord and I need it to be these 3 specific notes, and I know what a minor 7 is, and I know what I know what key we're in. Sometimes I don't even know that.
But you were in theater, so you can throw your voice around.
I do that,
and a lot of producers can't do that.
That's been cool about Andrew though. He just makes it work too. Like he's so creative that a lot of the ideas that I don't have like real words for, he just gets the vision, and he can, and that also helps because Compton can like translate for me too. He's like, I know Meredith pretty well. I think this is what she's trying to say. and then like Andrew and Compton's expertise like makes the vision come to life, and it's, I don't know, it's really fun.
Well, you're 100% a musician.
Thank you.
And you both have great voices, but I was honing in on yours when I was listening down this week, and I was like, holy crap, like your voice is very good.
Oh my goodness.
Like very, very good.
Yeah, thank you.
So go ahead and own your musicianship and don't be afraid of that.
Yay.
Production and all that stuff, especially in this town, could be intimidating. And so I think that's good advice for anyone to listen to, that you should always speak up. If you're the artist, unless you've got it all mapped out or some kind of machine kind of publishing thing going on, speak up. Because that's your time. That's your canvas. Draw your lines.
It's your money.
Yeah, it's definitely your money.
Yeah.
Unless it's someone else's money, and then still speak up, because you can make something great.
Yeah.
On someone else's dime. So let's listen to this work tape that you sent, and then we'll kind of talk about that a little bit.
Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? I'm told every evening coming home, I know less than a half of what I'm told, and I'm sleeping like a stone. Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? I know sometimes you need to be alone, but looking back I can't believe how far apart we've grown, and I'm escaping like a stone. Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Waiting in the creek forever back, flutter on my cheek, I'm getting sad. I don't know how to get that brave again. I don't know how to act. Flutter on my cheek, I'm getting back. I'm getting back. I'm getting. And I'm skipping like a stone. Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you?
I love this work tape. I told you guys this on the phone the other night, yesterday. I like work tapes that are like the worst. And I'm not saying this is the worst, but I tell people that a lot. And then I think, why do I say that? Because it's not like this song is bad in the work tape. I just mean like it's rough around the edges, and that's how it's supposed to be. And so a lot of times I get really excited when people send me, this is not what you sent me, but they'll send me like a voice memo that doesn't even have lyrics yet. And it's just like mumbo jumbo with the music. And that's my favorite. So I did notice the date on it. So the work tape was made in like last year.
Mm-hmm.
So how long would you have recorded it to a phone or made a demo after you wrote it? Is it the same day?
It was a little while later. I think we probably wrote it last
August.
summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so about a year ago, actually wrote the song, and then we were kind of refining it and trying to pick songs to record for the EP. We had like a session scheduled with Andrew, and so that was when we recorded the work tape we sent you. Was like, all right, we've got this song fully finished and arranged, and we're gonna send him some voice memos.
So you just held on to it in your brain that long?
I did have some earlier,
okay,
but it was like really piecemeal more.
Right.
Yeah. When we were looking for something to send, I was like looking on my phone and he was looking on his, and I had some that were named Can I Know You Ending, and it would be like 19 seconds long,
right,
and like he'd have a different part. And
yeah, it's interesting because I'll have guests of mine that come on, they'll send me stuff, like they'll send me like it's like a 10-second clip and then the full version and then whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have a hard time deciding if I shouldn't just play all of it. Usually I just do the completed work tape. Because I feel like as a fan, unless I'm just like a real super fan, something like the Beatles or whatever, I want to hear like, that documentary they put out when you start hearing like the early, like they're just messing around the piano and then all of a sudden you recognize the part, but they don't even know it's a huge song yet. They're just like toying around with Let It Be and nobody cares.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. So it's fun to hear. And sometimes I'll go back and listen to my own stuff like that. Like I'll go find really old ideas. I'll scroll all the way through like the earliest I can find and just be like, oh, that's where that came from. It's really interesting to me to hear that. And it doesn't sound like this work tape, like you didn't, obviously there's a lot of kind of bells and whistles on the production. But as far as the song goes, it didn't really change from, unless I didn't pick up on like a lyric or something.
Yeah, no, I don't think we really changed anything except for maybe like the length of one or two like interludes, let's take out these few bars and then just go straight to the verse. I think we did that like at one or two spots, but otherwise
it's pretty much the same.
Just the same.
Great
bones.
Man, it's a great song. I love this song. I've already said that, so I want everybody to go listen to it. And this is going to be a part of a EP. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's correct. 5 songs on the EP. So the other 3 are coming out next 3 months.
Yeah, they're just coming out a month at a time. Next song comes out a week from today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know that. So this kind of lined up good for that.
Yeah.
What's that song called?
Worrying Again.
Okay.
I think that might end up being the favorite off of the EP.
That's the one we should talk about.
No, Can I Know You is definitely the most fun song off the EP, so I think it was still a good choice, but Worrying Again is special.
Yeah.
Well, I'll post about it. How about that? When that one comes out, I'll post about it with you.
We should re-record this with the other song right now.
We could do it. We'll just like put in different titles. Yes. Same conversation though. That's cool. So what are y'all's, do you guys have like I know you're both 2 people, but do you have like a collective influence for the band? Or are you both into a lot of the same music? Maybe that's a better way to ask the question. Are you both into very different music?
I think we're into the same music, but only because I don't listen to new music. I just listen to whatever Compton is listening to. I've noticed I artists to like search out new artists or listen to new songs. I will.
Why not?
I don't know. I just like the same thing, and I'll listen to it over and over again for months.
I'm kind of like that, so that's why I was asking why. Like I don't. It takes a lot for me. Well, it doesn't take a lot. It takes someone else going, hey, you should listen to this.
Yeah, and then I'll listen to it, and I'll maybe, and it's often like not even artist, it'll be one song. So somebody will like bring up an artist and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love them, and they'll name a bunch of songs. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not what I meant. I love one song by them, and I've listened to it 800 times in the past 24 hours. That's what I meant. But Compton listens to more music. What would you say your influences are?
The main two artists that I feel like I really like learned songwriting from are John Foreman / Switchfoot, and then Chris Thiele / the Punch Brothers and or Nickel Creek. Yeah. And then if I had to add a third, it'd be Henry Jameson. He's more of a newer singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are some great influences. Also, I really love Madison Cunningham.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. So
I agree on all of those. I saw Switchfoot when I was, well, I don't remember how old I was, but the other brother was still in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Very early on.
It was in North Carolina, and they were opening for Audio Adrenaline.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah.
And I got to meet him that night somehow. I went backstage or something. It was at a college, so it wasn't like this huge, crazy show, but they were so young.
Mm-hmm.
And they ripped. I mean, they killed.
Yeah.
They were better than Audio was in that. At that show.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so great. Or was it, maybe they opened for Jars of Clay. I can't remember. Maybe. I saw all those bands at that college.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, he's a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
John Foreman's just...
His solo stuff is really cool, too. Like, his stuff apart from Switchfoot is, like, just awesome and intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Switchfoot record?
Man, that's tough. I feel like did I tell you my favorite the other day? Every few like months or year, I'm like, I found it. This one's my favorite. Gosh.
I know mine and I can't remember what it's called, which is kind of embarrassing. It's a really early one.
I just like the normal one. What's their like Hallmark one?
The Beautiful Letdown.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Legend of Chin, is that what it's called?
That was like, I think their first album.
Wow. I love that record.
It's really good.
It's very good.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, man, it would be honestly, The Beautiful Letdown is just so solid.
Every
Nothing is
track
sound
on it is so good.
Yeah, Nothing is Sound is one of my other top.
Yeah.
I think it came out right after, or right before. Beautiful Letdown. So many good ones.
Right now,
it's hard to pick.
Right now, we're both on a Bill Wirtz kick.
Okay.
And we've been listening to him. I've been listening to him like every single day for a week.
New artist for you. Disproves you don't listen to new music.
Well, no, it's because you introduced.
She doesn't find new music on her own.
Yeah, I don't find it. I just listen to whatever you play. Compton does play some stuff that I'm like, you have to turn that off. I hate that. But Bill Wirtz grew on me, and I've been listening to the song "I'm a Princess" for days on end.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very good.
I get into loops. Like, I'll stick on a record. Like, there's a few records that I do not get tired of, and I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
John Guerra has a album. What's the first one called?
Keeper of Days.
Keeper of Days. Yeah. I've listened to that album. So, like, we've been listening to it for probably over a year.
He's amazing.
Almost every single morning.
Yeah. I kind of want to get him on this, and I think I think I can, but my buddy worked with him on something, and I can't remember what he did. I don't know if he produced it or mixed it or something, but that's how I was introduced to him. Is my friend was like, "You got to hear this."
We're obsessed with him.
Yeah, no, he's within the last year top artist for me for sure. John Guerra.
Yeah, fantastic. I get stuck on Radiohead's "In Rainbows," and I bought my grandmother's car and it doesn't have Bluetooth. So I have to use CDs.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of awesome, though.
Oh, it sounds better.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds better. So, but I listen to In Rainbow so much that my kids have memorized that record.
That's awesome.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You're like, this is my legacy, is that you know this because of me.
It's just one of these, I just can't get tired. There's only one song, and it's the last song on the record that I skip. Everything else I just play straight through. So I don't know what that's about. That's cool. So, okay. One of my last questions is going to be, as far as the future of the band, if you could have it go anywhere and do what you want it to do, what do you want it to do?
We were just talking about this today. Our EP release show next week is kind of like probably going to be our biggest show. There's like 10 tickets left. It's like probably going to be a sold out show. That's like a big deal for us, and it's in our hometown. And so we were just like reminiscing about the future and just like being really excited about our show. And we were kind of like, how do we want to play shows forever? Is there kind of like something we want to do, something we don't want to do? And I think we're both in agreement that we really want to do touring forever. And it's like a fun way for us to hang out and be on the road and do our thing. But we really want to do something that's a little bit more like grounded and meaningful. There's a time and a place for all kinds of music, so not dissing anybody's, direction that they go. But for us, it's kind of in the name, it's Common Man. We're Common Man, made by and for the common man. We would love to play, smaller venues, 200 nights out of the year, and just like really make a connection with people and get to have a fan base that we know and that's a community, and I don't know, just keep it at a sustainable level forever, so that we're playing like the same crowds, the same size rooms when we're celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. And it's Common Man, just we're not really trying to do anything crazy. This is like our job that we want to have, and we want to do it together. And so something like sustainable and community focused, I think is probably our. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. We were just talking about it
literally.
Earlier today. So,
that's a very like uncommon answer though.
For the common
man.
We think about it a lot. Like it's so.
I love that.
It's crazy right now. Like, and the things you're being pressured to do as an artist, and the things you're being told that you have to do to succeed. Yes. And I think a lot of those things, I'm just curious if they're going to long-term feel meaningful to the artist. And I think what some people think is, I have to do all the cringy stuff and I have to do all the sellouty stuff so that when I am famous, then I'm going to do it my way.
Right.
Then I'm going to be super down to earth, and then I'm going to be super, whatever. But I think that it starts now, because
100%.
Once you grow to that point, you don't get to just change your whole deal, and because you dictate what your fan culture is and what your community culture is. Like, the artist does that by being themselves 100%. And then attracting like the audience that's drawn to what they find meaningful in what you're doing. And you cultivate that starting when you have 1,000 followers on Instagram. And so I think we're just like we're thinking long term about this, like, and I think part of the reason that we have that perspective is because we started the band when we got married, and marriage is a long term plan, ideally. And so for us, it's, since those things are kind of they're not the same, but since they go so hand in hand for us, we think about like our marriage long term, and we think about our band, just really closely tied to that. So we're like, the same things that make a marriage last forever are a lot of the similar things that are going to make the band last forever. Yeah. And it's being really intentional now, like having conversations now about what your life's going to look like 20, 30, 40 years from now.
I love that. And I think about this so often, and I struggle really hard as an artist to even want to make any kind of marketing thing, because it used to be that you as the artist were not, you sold yourself because you were yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So you came up with your music, your songs, your genre, and if people liked it, great. Mm-hmm. But now we have to wear all the hats unless we've got a huge budget to hire out. And I look at people that make reels so often or whatever they're making, and I go, I don't think they want to do that.
Yeah. They don't.
And I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Not that. Like, I'll get on there and play a song because that's real to me. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I also don't like doing that.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of it that's not real. Because how many takes did I do to get a 30-second clip, you know, for you to listen to? And why did I do it?
Yeah.
Right.
And am I being genuine to myself and to my art? Or am I just, or do I just need eyeballs? You know, and I don't, that's where there's so much going on, to your point, of artists, just people in general, needing that attention. And they're not after the long-term game like you're talking about. They're after, I need to fix. I need the fix. I need the attention right now, and I'll get some more tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's also, there's a lot of pressure when you start doing music to be full-time as soon as possible. And so you do feel that pressure. Like, I have to be a career musician, which means I have to make money doing this immediately. So you do have to kind of cut some corners, and that's like not been our mindset, even though it's tempting sometimes. But like, everything that you're doing in life is really meaningful, even if it's a means to an end.
Of course.
And it's okay as long as you're viewing it that way. Like, if that's your perspective, is like, I'm gonna really care about everything that I'm doing, like, it is going to change the way that your reels look and the way that you think about success.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been helpful for us too. And we're also just like really, you know, really fortunate and blessed to be at a place in our lives where we have a lot of mentors, and we have a lot of really wise people that like help us think through a lot of this stuff and like kind of inform the way that we think about it. It's not like we just came up with all of this great life advice. Like, it's, you know, piecemealed together from a lot of really wise people that speak into our marriage in a specific way, and then speak into our art in another way.
Yeah.
And we're just, you know, constantly trying to put all of those things together and make it something really meaningful to us, and like something that makes like a really like high quality life. And then everything else just kind of like comes out of that, because there's no guarantee that music is going to be our full-time job, you know, forever.
Right.
And and that's okay. Like, that's our goal, and that's what we're going to try to do. But there's not this pressure of like, everything I'm doing now is meaningless if it doesn't end with my full-time music career where I have a platinum record and I'm, you know, I can sell out an auditorium anytime I want to. Life needs to like be really beautiful right now if it's going to be beautiful when you have all that stuff.
Agreed.
And so that's what we like work on now, is like, if we ever get to a point where, because even with this show next week, you know, if we sell out this show, it'll be our first headline show that we've just like packed wall to wall. We're going to be playing with our full band. We're going to be selling vinyls. Like, this is a big deal for us and like where we're at career wise. And we've already had to like reground. And this is small potatoes for a lot of artists. This is like 100 cap venue. This is a small, teeny tiny show for a lot of artists. But for us, we're already having to like reground and be like, okay, we have to remind ourselves why we're doing this. We can't be stressed out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what, is this still fun? Are we still enjoying this? Like, just kind of checking in with each other, and even with our band, and just like making sure we have our priorities in the right place. Because it's just like too easy to like get really worked up and like selfish about the whole thing. And it's, making music is an act of like giving to other people. You're giving them what you have to offer.
I love that. I mean, all of that is so good. Which means you guys are probably going to do great, because I'm serious. I mean, you've got great music, great songs, and a good head on your shoulders. Like, that's a great recipe. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
for your future success. And you're playing in Nashville in August too, right?
We are. Yeah.
Where is that show?
It's in West Nashville.
It's a house show.
Okay.
It'll be acoustic, and it's with a friend from out of town who's just an amazing singer-songwriter.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
And your show in your hometown is next week?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What's the date of that? Wait.
August 16th.
I think that's when this episode will come out.
Wow.
Nice.
I think.
Perfect.
That day. So not enough time to really plug it, but
Yeah.
If you're hearing this, it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. Should have bought tickets. Sorry, guys. That's great. Where can people find all the things about Common Man?
commonmanband.com, at Common Man Band on Instagram, Common Man on Spotify and Apple Music. We're everywhere.
Y'all do a great job on videos and all of that stuff, by the way.
Dude, thank you.
You do it by yourself?
We have a lot of awesome friends, but I try to like direct a lot of that stuff because that's something I find really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Director.
Extraordinaire.
Meredith's the director.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. That's great. I hate doing that stuff, so congratulations.
It takes a team. Like, you don't do anything by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not what life's about.
It's hard to do things by yourself also. Like,
It's stressful.
making videos like that by yourself would be impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. Well, I hope everyone will go listen to Common Man. I'm a fan. Thanks for being here. Thanks for driving up.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for having us.
I think we're done.
Thank you.
We're done. Thanks, guys.
I'm skipping like a stone.
Man, that's really fun.
Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you? Ooh, can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you? Can I know you? Can I know you more than a moment? Can I behold you?
This episode of Worktapes is brought to you by 9to5warriors.com. When you punch out, they come punching in. 9to5warriors.com.
Finally, a reason to go back to the office. Introducing 9 to 5 Warriors, an exciting new toy line created for the Toys R Us kid that never grew up. Offering 10 unique characters that are perfect for your cubicle or home office. Join the battle alongside Major Eraser and the Water Cooler Commandos as they keep the peace. Or wreak havoc with Colonel Custard and the Break Room Bandits. Choose your side as these two forces clash over total office domination.
Every day from 9 to 5.
Warning, do not leave unattended. Each figure sold separately. When you punch out, they come punching in.